Hello and good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dania here, and today we have a speaker for the evening, holistic nutrition coach Revati Prasad, and a Sadhana Award winner with us amongst us today. And we're going to have a wonderful presentation of diabetes type 1 case study. So really eager to know how reversal of diabetes type 1 is possible. Thanks a lot, Revati, to be with us. Welcome. And the mic is all yours.
Thank you so much, Dania, for the kind introduction, and good evening all. So here I am presenting my first type 1 case to handle many type 2. So I'll just share my screen before I start. Right. So this is my first case handling a type 1 diabetes in my whole of my career. Right. I've been into this first case handling a type 1 diabetes in my whole of my career. Right. I've been into this. My voice is echoing back to me. I don't know.
Yeah, that Dania must have. Dania, you have to.
Yeah, I did that. Is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Revati, go ahead. Yeah.
Right. So I've been practicing as a clinical dietitian for past 13 years and into holistic practice since 1 year. And this is the first case I've handled as a holistic coach. I mean, everything is first, like type 1 diabetes is also first for me. So I'll just go with the story, like how I was able to work with the client. And so the story first about the client. So this girl is a 13-year-old and she's doing a 9th standard in a government school. She belongs to a tribal community and she resides in a village near Coimbatore. And this girl is like, she came through a doctor through which we do the NGO service. It's a non-profitable organization, everybody knows. So this is we got this case through a doctor through the NGO, and this girl has been suffering from type 1 diabetes since the age of 3. So it's been like 10 years she's been on insulin, and so this is the history of the client. And coming to the family of the client, this girl has lost her biological mother at the age of 7, and this girl has got another sister. So dad was forced to marry to take care of these both daughters, so he got married for the second time. And amazingly, this new mother, stepmother, is very very supportive. And the way she spoke to me over the phone was like I couldn't believe that she's not the biological mother. I can say like she was more than the biological mother. The way she cooperated with me throughout the follow-ups and other stuff. And my client has got sibling, one younger sister and one younger brother. And she also resides with a paternal grandmother. So they resides like, they have a own house where there is a partition in between. This girl goes sleep to the sleep with the grandmother. And there is an aunt also, Atai. Okay, so she goes to the next part and she goes sleep with the grandmother. And here the stepmother and the grandmother both are diabetic. So this is the family history. And coming to the support team, so how this girl been handled all these 10 years? She's been taken care of through telemedicine, and she's been taken care by a pediatrician, by a pediatric endocrinologist, and also in the village there's a primary health center where the doctor, the local doctor and the nurse were helping this girl, because this girl since the age of 3 years she's been diabetic. And so this girl has been very known there. So she gets all the insulin and other stuff from the primary health center. And she's also been supported by a pharmacist for all the strips and how to use the glucometer and other stuff. So this is the support team she's been with last 10 years. So now she joins me on 7th July with the primary challenges were for me is like this girl weighed only 33 kg as against 45 kg for her age. Completely underweight, and she's been put on 60 units of insulin per day. And I got this case through Dr. Ganesh. So what he insisted me is, Revati, this is 60 units is like too much for a for a kid. So we cannot increase the 60 unit more than this. So you have to really work and bring the sugars down. And that girl, when she joined me, all her history of these blood sugars were, everything was like above 400 only. She never had 200 or 100, nothing. She hardly experienced hypoglycemia, but this girl always had this 400. And whenever they used to test with the strips, the glucometer, it always showed high, HI. Okay, so it is like really, really high. And this girl is, when I started the assessment part, I found that this girl is not having enough sleep. So when I was actually talking to this girl, but before that I was talking to the parents. So I was asking them what time she goes to bed. Since this girl is not sleeping along with the parents, but she goes to the grandmother and sleep, this girl actually goes to her grandmother's part, I mean the portion of the house, by around 10 o'clock in the night. So both these parents were under the impression that this girl is sleeping around 10:30, 11ish. Then I spoke to this girl. Then she told like, auntie, actually I'm not sleeping properly. I get my sleep around 3 o'clock in the morning, early morning, 3 or 4 only she's actually sleeping. And the other thing the parents complained was this girl is like very lethargic, very sluggish. And since these both the parents were assuming that this girl is sleeping by around 11, but she's not even able to wake up around 8 in the morning. So they used to call her like anything, make her wake up, then at least 10 to 12 times they need to shout her name. Even after that, she is very sluggish. She's not waking up. So this was another major complaint from the parents. Then the other thing is like she's very lethargic, sluggish, and her mother was very particular about, concerned about, ma'am, whatever I'm trying to say, she's not able to understand what I'm trying to say her. So I was able to connect with that hyperglycemia because the sugar is actually not going to, it is not being utilized by the body. We all know that the brain fuel is only glucose. A brain cannot accept anything else. So the only source of fuel is glucose, but this girl is not able to utilize this glucose properly. So this girl ended up having this brain fog. And this girl is being made believe that she was telling me, I was asking her like, what are the other concerns you have? We'll work on it. She told like, ma'am, I've got too much of memory loss. I was like laughing. 30-year-old girl telling me, ma'am, I cannot remember things. I am completely forgetting things. So I have this is the biggest thing for me to be addressed. Then I told, okay, we'll work on that. And the challenge too is, this is in particular to the client's health. The second thing, when I was inquiring about the insulin pattern, like how they are administering and what is the dose they're using, then I found out that though this girl is being recommended or prescribed 60 units of insulin every day, she's been given only 34 units. And the lunch insulin, the insulin during the lunchtime, it has been skipped. It has never been given. The dose was completely neglected. And even the morning dose and the nighttime dose, they have reduced it. So this is one thing I was able to find out. The second thing is like the incorrect insert techniques. Like any insulin injection, it has to be actually used 90 degree. So these parents, I was like really surprised when I was asking her mother, how will you insert the injection? She was telling me like a nurse injecting any antibiotic or the normal kind of injection. Then I was like quite surprised. I told her like, this is not the way you inject. Then she told, no ma'am, this is how my husband taught me. I was completely shocked because since the age of 3, the client's father was actually administering the insulin, and since then itself he's been doing the same kind of wrong technique. Like the position of the insulin injection was not in the right way. Then when I was asking him, and I was telling, when I asking him, he was like really shocked. Then he told like, ma'am, this is how I've been taught. Then the other thing is like the wrong timing of insulin. See, generally insulin is being given probably 10, 15, 20 minutes. Then when I inquired with Dr. Ganesh also and the pediatric endocrinologist, they told me like 30 minutes is the gap, ma'am. It has to be maintained. But these people were injecting the insulin just 5 minutes, 2 minutes before the food. So this I was able to find out. And inadequate testing, they were not testing, even though they were blessed with glucometer and strips. they weren't testing adequately. And so these are all the challenges I uh, was coming across when it came to the medical therapy. And the third challenge is something, her father, the client's father, is a daily wage person. Okay, so he has to go to work every day to make his living. So there was a complete financial challenge for me. And though they have enough resources, they were not using it adequately. So they have this primary health center just 2 minutes from their home, but they hardly visited. And that too, when they joined me in the month of July 2021, the lockdown was going on in Tamil Nadu. And the father had a very bad experience because the complete family got affected by COVID. Luckily, all these three kids weren't affected. So he took these kids and left it in the aunt's his sister's place. So now he don't want to again go into those financial crisis, because the moment he got COVID, he has to stay back home and he lost so much of financial losses were there. And then so what he did is like he not even weight being checked for this girl. So he was like very scared to go out, letting these kids play outside. And he has got so much of myths not about only the COVID, but even myths about the food. So in this case, dad was the deciding authority to what need to be cooked for the day, what food this girl has to eat. Everything he decides, more than giving that kind of a responsibility to his wife. So there were like so many things. Like he wasn't allowing this girl to drink buttermilk. So he was thinking like buttermilk, then she will get cold and the COVID will be there. She's already diabetic and all those stuff. Cucumber also, it was like really difficult for me to make him understand. So these are all the challenge I faced the moment I, started investigating all these basic assessment. And coming to the diet recall, this girl, as I told, she wakes up only by 8, though she's been called off for from 7 o'clock. It takes 1 hour for her to get up from the bed. 8:55, they take the insulin. And 9 o'clock, she eats 8 to 9 idlis. Okay. And I want to share you something. The first call when I made to her mother, she told like, ma'am, how many idlis she will eat? She told me like, ma'am, only 4 or maximum 5. But in the follow-up call, she started letting me know the actual numbers. She told like, ma'am, sorry to say, because what was happening, I was asking this girl to take a pic of the food plate and ask me to share it in the WhatsApp. And there is another challenge. Only the father has got an Android phone and the mother has got a very basic version. So the other problem, what was going on before they joined me is, this girl is being asked to share the pic of the food plate and then she should eat. So she was sharing it to the doctor. So what was happening is like, she has to wait for another person who's the neighbor, but the neighbor doesn't stay very close, but they are a little far away. So that girl has to come taking up the Android phone, click the pic of the thing, and then only this girl has to eat. So there was this constraint. That's the reason they were using this insulin just 5 minutes before the food. And then the girl was immediately fed. So on the follow-up call, then I came to know her mother would reveal that, ma'am, actually this girl is eating 8 to 9. I'm making it is very difficult for me to say not to eat, because my mother-in-law, she always tells me like I am not treating her as my own daughter. But though I really need to say, this woman, she is doing more than the biological mother. And so she couldn't stop, though she's also a diabetic. She knows like how much to eat, the basic thing she was aware of, but she couldn't stop because mother-in-law was playing a big role there. And then this is the recall, like she was eating 8 to 9 idlis. Then every day they used to have this potatoes and brinjal bhaji. So they make some masala, the curry base, or they will use potato. Any potato based masala is mandate. So she has to make up the volume because the family is a big family. And or some tomato based gravy she used to make in the morning. And then mid morning, even though this girl feels hungry, her mother used to deny food because she was very scared of the sugar might shoot up very high. So she was denied food. And 1 o'clock, she used to have some variety rice or plain rice and potatoes or any other vegetable. Potatoes were like, very predominant in her diet. And any curry or any sambar, kara kolambu, all those stuffs, whether food. And 2:30, after 1.5 hours after the lunch, this girl used to eat boiled groundnut or some raw mango or just a simple lime juice plus salt. Evening 5 o'clock, this girl brings coffee, that too in a very bigger glass. And along with it, she used to take 5 marigold biscuits. Because her mother was feeling that, okay, if I give this big glass of coffee and this biscuit, she was able to withstand her hunger probably around till 8. So, and then again 8:25, she is given insulin. Again, she has to wait for the person to come and take the pick of the meal plate. 8:30, she was eating again 8 to 9 idlis. And so the remaining things like dosa or upma, whatever it is, the quantity, the portion size was really high. And 10 o'clock, this girls go to bed. See, the bedtime is 10, but the sleep time is like 3 to 4. So after I got to get to know from this girl, and I told the parents were really shocked. They weren't aware that this girl is sleeping only by 3 to 4. Then they realized that, okay, this girl is sleeping by 4, then how can she be able to get up by 8 in the morning? So now the areas to address the holistic things. So the physical health is like, this girl diet is not balanced at all. And due to this COVID scenario, her father didn't allow her to do any kind of physical activity. So she is forced to play only with her siblings, that too inside the room. So when I was asking her what kind of a play you do, she told like, auntie, you always need to sit and play. So there was hardly any kind of movement happening for that girl. And so very low energy levels, that's what she was telling me. And personal life, this girl is very much influenced by the grandmother, the paternal grandmother. This girl is like being pampered like anything, because she's the first grandchild of that family, and she's always given that special attention. So whenever her mother used to tell something for her good, but this girl either go tell her grandmother, otherwise the grandmother unnecessarily intervene, and this was happening around like a drama. And occasional help, this girl is doing her 9th standard. That time she was doing her classes online. And here in Tamil Nadu, we have that classes happening in the TV channels. So she was listening to the TV programs. And social health, she's very happy. Like, she always wanted to play with her friends, school friends and the neighborhood friends, but her father always denied that. And financial health, so I need to just put in terms of her father. So he struggles a lot for living, and he's a daily wages. He cannot take leave even for one single day, so he has to lose. There's a lot of compensation he has to do. In the psycho-emotional part, this girl is like very innocent, and I once I happened to talk to her, and I asked her like, I thought of I should start with gratitude. And that time she told like, I was like curious, like, okay, what will you say if you want to thank God? The moment she told, I was like in tears. So she told me, auntie, I will thank God for giving me an amazing, supporting and loving family. I will thank him for giving me a home to reside. And then she told me like, I've been really blessed with an amazing life. I was like dumbstruck, because this girl has been injecting insulin since 10 years, and all 3 meals. And then I asked her like, do you want to stop this insulin? So she told like, auntie, no, I'm already happy with the insulin. If you're going to stop, then I will feel very sad. So this is how that girl, though she is a 13, the teenager, but she's very innocent. But coming to the psycho-emotional part, the father. In this case, since a biological mother is not there, so I need to address her father. A father is somebody like, he always go with self-pity. You always feel like very victimized, because he's still not able to digest this loss of his first wife. And apart from that, wife and mother both are diabetic, and he's not able to meet the ends because already his wages is going for the family. Apart from that, he has to spend for the medications and the other stuff. So as I told, even the resources are there. They can very well go to the government hospital and they can get the medicines free. But the problem is like he's not able to go get the medicine because every day he has to go to work. So he starts his work by around 9 o'clock. He leaves office. He leaves his home and reaches office and comes back home around 10:30, 11 in the night. So Monday to Saturday he's occupied and only Sunday is available at home. And wife being taking care of 3 kids and the mother-in-law when she's not able to move around. So this is something like lots of trauma happening around him. And I used to see his WhatsApp status. He always keeps all sad songs in his WhatsApp. So one day I called him up and I told him, sir, you are like inviting everything to, you are attracting so much of negativity. So now stop, putting all these sad song status. Just put some motivation song. And after that, I was able to see only twice or thrice he's started sharing that motivational song, the film songs. But nowadays he's not even sharing all these sad songs, and also I'm very happy about it. And when it comes to spiritual health, this girl is really religious and she's very spiritual. So she loves God and she always wanted to be, I mean, thank God. She's happy with whatever she is now. So the interventions part. So week 1 and 2. First, I need to address this girl's sleep. So I was just finding out what is there. So I was actually counseling the girl, finding out, collecting more information, why this girl is not sleeping. Is that because that, see, they have only 2 rooms. One is the kitchen and the other one is the hall. The TV is there in the hall. And I was asking her whether the grandmother is watching too much of serial, that's the reason she's not able to sleep. She told like, no, auntie, by the time I go, they will switch off everything. Maximum 10:30. Beyond that, they will not, the TV is switched off. I was like, fine, taking off. Then I found out that this girl is actually taking this coffee. In my experience, I've seen so many people, they are not able to metabolize this caffeine from coffee. It takes for some people, they can, drink coffee in 1 hour, they can sleep easily because their body is so fast in metabolizing this caffeine. But when it comes to some people, it takes sometimes 4 hours, 5 hours. Then I found out this small girl is not able to metabolize this caffeine. So the moment I stopped and I replaced this with some milk or some boiled dal, whole dal, this was the first intervention I did. And within 3 days, a father called me and said that, ma'am, thank you so much. The girl started sleeping by 10:30. And the next day when they were calling her with single call, she was able to wake up. And so she woke up. They were very, very happy because all these years they've been tired of calling her, but this time they were very happy they called me. And then the insulin administration has to be corrected. So since because the father is having the Android and he's not having that much of data backup, the internet thing, so I was like desperate to help them out. Then I was just finding out with Dr. Ganesh, and he told like you can get connected with the local pharmacist where they get the strip. Then I told them go. Then I spoke up to the pharmacist and I told her like I don't know whether they are correct, I mean, injecting the insulin in the right way. So you just help them in the right way. Then she taught, and then she also educated them how to use the strip, how to test, when to test, what are the precautions to be taken. So everything was done in week 1 and 2. So this intervention really worked. And the 3rd week, the 4th week, I was following up every week. And they told me like, ma'am, nowadays the strip reading, it's not showing high, that is HI. Rather it is showing somewhere around 400 or less than 400 or 300 sometimes. So the BG, the blood glucose were becoming better. And I introduced fenugreek powder, half teaspoon in empty stomach. So she was able to take it. She told like, I was asking her like, out of curiosity, it is very bitter. She told like, no, auntie, I'm able to take it. So I was like really surprised the way she was responding me. And in breakfast, I added some protein. So I told them like whether they can buy eggs or they can use some boiled dal. So they are luckily they are blessed. They are affordable to buy those things. So they started including that. More vegetables, more cooked vegetables, and green leafy vegetables were like for that was easy for them, pocket friendly. And they had especially that drumstick leaves, that tree. So I told them like even if you are not able to buy something, at least you do that. From the neighborhood they had the tree, so you just buy, get them, and weekly twice or thrice you can include it. So that was happening. And periodical blood glucose testing started happening, though previously it wasn't very regular. Now they started doing it. And week 5 is like so the thing is like I need to start working on their diet part, the other things, like as I told you, um, the buttermilk, cucumber, and roasted Bengal gram, brown nuts, everything I started including. So buttermilk and cucumber, it took the 3rd and 4th week, talk to her father, and then again I need to talk to them on the 5th and 6th week, make him understand it is not going to harm her. And then he finally agreed and she started eating. And cycling, she wasn't doing, she loved to do cycle, but she was denied because of the COVID prevalence. And then I got the help from doctor. And then the doctor told them like in your area, there's no much of COVID, you can always allow her. Then she started doing the cycling also. And only this part, this 5th, 6th week, I was able to talk to their mom and dad and find out like what's actually happening. It was exactly the first call for that father, because I was all these weeks I was talking to the mother only, because her father was always in the work, so I couldn't disturb him. So mother, I was able to easily do it because mother always had that habit of journaling, so that made my work little easier. And then it started with acceptance and forgiveness. But to my surprise, when I did the first call to the father to talk about all these things, he broke off, like he started crying. And then he started telling me everything, like he lost his first wife, and the second wife is also diabetic, mother is also diabetic, everything. Then I told him, see, first of all, accept, yes, it has all happened. And forgive people whoever you feel like, because he has got so many other family politics happening. And all these, assert the property problem were happening. I told like, don't just forgive everybody, you just focus on like imagine suppose your wife, your mother, and your daughter is going to get out of this diabetes, how you are going to feel? Is that important, or your property? Then he understood. Then no, ma'am, I'm very much interested in getting back all my people healthy and other stuff. Then we started working. And then in the 7th and 8th week, what we did is like I asked her to allow her to play outside with the friends and siblings. Then we increased the cycling, morning 30 minutes and evening 30 minutes. So she started happily doing the cycling, and she started becoming very happy. She told like, ma'am, I'm very happy. And my father has let me out. So finally I'm there. Then only in the 7th and 8th week, I was talking to this girl regarding gratitude, and she told all these things, the story, whatever I shared previously. And finally, all the 9th to 12th weeks, I insisted to follow all the interventions. I was just making sure that whether everything is being in place. And still I'm with them because the insulin levels aren't exactly got down, but there were other interesting progress in this case. So now this girl, when she joined me, she was 33 kg in the month of July 7th. And in 52 days, this girl gained 5 kg. So she weighed 38 kg, and the blood glucose were always above 400. And after that, her blood glucose started dropping below 210. And it was so overwhelming because father called me and he said like, ma'am, this girl is having this sugars coming down to 160 and all. I feel like it is very low sugar. Should I have to do anything? Then I told, sir, this is the normal value. 160 is the normal value. You have to really thank that her body is responding. So now don't panic and don't cut off the insulin dose. My worry was that, because he felt like the 160 and 170, he hardly saw all these numbers. I told him, don't do that. Now she is actually responding. She started putting on weight. And when it comes to food, she was actually telling me 8 to 9 is not also not satisfying, not fulfilling my tummy. But now that girl is very happy with 4. Maximum is 4 for her. So with 4 at least she's very happy. And overall, like, she's very energetic. She's very active. Now she's getting adequate sleep, and she's just wakes up on a single call. And she's now understanding things better. Even before, she wasn't understanding what people are trying to tell her, but she's able to grasp better. So against all these foggy brain, no energy, very low energy or letharginess, everything started changing. And her father was very, very happy because I asked him to share a testimony, a audio testimony. And in that, I feel like, he felt so much. Like after joining me, she has gained 10 kg. I was like, what? She's got joined only. I mean, she's gained 5 kg, but she's just gave me a feedback as 10 kg. Then I was able to understand that girl was very skinny and bony. And then the moment she started putting on, the moment he started seeing the smiling face, and she's like, normal kid, he felt so happy about it. So these are all the things that happened. So this is it from my end. This is all about the story.